Hey, what's up? How to get a girlfriend. So I've noticed that a lot of my followers on this particular channel are males, and that is something that has been concerning because it seems like a lot of the males are bitter, lonely, and feeling disheartened with how things are right now. So if you didn't already know, I am a sociologist as well as a musician. I went to school at the top university in the country for sociology and psychology. I also have 4 related degrees in behavioral science, etc. But I try not to get, So I have the academic portion of this. I also have the real firsthand experience. And also, a lot of my friends have been males over the years and I've seen their journey. So as far as the manosphere, there are a few people that I know who've gotten heavily into that, right? Really hardcore into the manosphere stuff. And I'm gonna let you know this right now. I'm not doing debates. I'm not doing arguments. we're not doing any back and forth energy exchange. That's not gonna happen here. This is for people that want to heal and want general practical tips, right? No, energy draining, energy stealing, back and forth discourse and dialogue. We don't do that. High vibrational here. High vibrational and positive. So let's get started. There are a lot of things going on right now with this, right? You have the economy, which is way different than it was before. And I mean way. You have a lot of men in this generation, particularly Generation X, Generation Y, who are feeling very disheartened with how things are. They're feeling alienated. They're feeling like they have worked so hard and everything that they thought was going to be true is not true. They felt like, well, by now I'm supposed to have a wife. I'm supposed to have kids. I'm at least supposed to have a girlfriend. Why don't I have a house? Why don't I have this or that? And they are struggling, particularly with online dating. And then they see the guys who are getting the girls, and they see the way that a lot of women are acting, especially in sensationalized media, and they're getting even worse. They're feeling even worse, right? And what's happening is a lot of these guys, particularly over the age of 40, they're bitter. They're disheartened. They're upset. They feel like things are not fair. And I understand, but there are things you can do to change it. First of all, I need you to understand there are a lot of women out there that are extremely healthy, that are beautiful, are positive, are nurturing, and are loving. But because we have such a narcissistic culture, a lot of those women are in hiding. A lot of those women are self-isolating right now, so you're not seeing those women. Some of these women, because they dealt with pickup artists, social manipulators, narcissistic men who had their pick of the pool of women using advanced psychological techniques, master manipulators who fooled and tricked these women into relationships, a lot of these women are in isolation. So let me explain how that works. You have one guy over here who's mastered body language, the art of psychology, and using, in some cases, CIA tactics in order to psychologically manipulate women, in order to socially manipulate women. And he goes through, this particularly was happening a few years back. He goes through on dating websites, on dating apps, and he's extremely handsome. He knows how to talk to women really well. And he goes through and lies and tricks and deceives women into thinking that they're going to get married, they're going to have a family, he's going to be the one for them, etc. And these women are now in what they call hermit mode, isolation mode. They're healing. They are scared. So you have this aspect there. So that's a lot of women. Keep in mind, if you have one pickup artist who is with 100 women in 1 year, multiply that by probably about 1 million different men practicing pickup artistry. That's 100 million women. Okay, so that's just one example, rough number. So you have that going on. At the same time, people have become more socially awkward because they depend on their devices, they depend on their phones, they're not going out as much, they're not interacting as much. And so what ends up happening there is you have women who were seduced or charmed by pickup artists, in many cases, who are off the market. And then you have men who are socially awkward, afraid to talk to women. And then you have category 3. You have a group of women who are social predators, who are called finessers, who feel like, okay, well, I'm going to get something out of it. And they're taking advantage of vulnerable men. And this is also leaving men very bitter. So this is a massive problem. So you have women who are good women who have been hurt. You have men who are good men who are feeling bitter. You have women who are bitter and have decided to go through and use social manipulative tactics themselves to be like these pickup artist type guys. And then number 4, you have these pickup artist type guys. So you have basically 4 categories of people, predators and prey, and they're making the situation worse. So when it comes to using discernment to be able to figure out who's who, how to separate this one from that one, it's very simple. Stand on your traditional values first, but we're going to get into like actual details of like how to get a girlfriend in just a minute. I really recommend, and if you're not ready for this, then you can probably go ahead and click off of this actually. I really recommend celibacy because that will help you reveal who is who. If you're dealing with a woman who doesn't necessarily want to be with you for you, and she is a so-called finesser, which is a woman that manipulates men to get whatever out of them, very shallow woman. This woman uses her sex as a potential weapon. She uses her sex as a form of power in order to be able to control this man, in order to be able to steer him in a certain direction, right? If you're a woman who's a good woman, the pickup artist type guys, their goal is, one of them is to get sex out of a woman or to be able to manipulate and control her through sex, which is more common. Okay, so I really recommend celibacy, waiting until marriage if you want to get married in order before having sex. All right. And I know a lot of guys are going to be like, oh, well, women don't want that. There are a lot of women right now that are celibate. There are a lot of women right now that are waiting for the right one, that want to be wives, that are looking for a good man. You do, on the other hand, of course, have women who say they're looking for a good man, they're looking for a husband, but they're acting differently than what they say. Edward Bernays, who wrote the book Propaganda, he's the father of public relations, he talked about how essentially people will do one thing and say another. They'll feel one way, they have private thoughts, but in the public, they'll say something else. So, for example, a guy might say, well, I don't watch pornography, but he watches it every night, right? A girl might say, oh, I just want a guy who's a good man, but she actually is looking for a guy for shallow reasons, right? This can happen with either male or female. But I need you guys to understand the way that you are going to get a girl, the way that you're going to get a girlfriend, is in order to break away from the artificial nature of what some people do, you have to start getting active. You have to start going out and participating in activities that you love and that you enjoy. And what will happen is you will naturally run into people who are into similar things and have similar interests. If you are doing activities and you're finding you're not meeting people, expand your social circles. Go to meetup groups. If you're into anime, go to anime watch parties. If you're into bowling, join a bowling team. Start interacting with people in your age group and start interacting with activities that are designed to bring people together. What I would start by doing is doing one activity a week. If you're not currently doing very many, do one a week. Like, okay, this week I'm going to try bowling. This week, I'm going to try going to a watch viewing party with a small group of people. Expand, break out of the fear. If you do have fear, break out of the fear and expand. And remember that fear is nothing more than excitement. Fear is just your body's response to trying and doing something new. In some cases, fear can be a protective mechanism, but the type of fear that I'm discussing here is when you're not used to doing something and you have to do it. One of the reasons why these pickup artists are able to get so many women is they practice repetitively, and I don't agree with their approach, but they practice talking to as many women as they possibly can until they lose the fear, right? The problem is healthy men who have empathy aren't doing this. Healthy men are kind of becoming more and more withdrawn, where you have men who are thinking with a more negative mindset, who are looking at women as objects, and they go out and they practice. They'll practice talking to 100 women a day at the mall or at a bar or at a club or at a social gathering, right? Whereas the good men stay withdrawn. You are going to get hurt. You are going to get rejected. But remember, for every woman that says no, there's one that's going to say yes to getting to know you. Also, don't get caught up in with this one particular woman. Let's say she's beautiful and you guys have things in common, or you think she's going to be a great match for you. Don't be disappointed if she's not interested in that time. There might be something else going on that you don't know about, okay? Don't go into it with an attitude of, I've got to get this girl. In terms of, allow her that space to be able to decide if she's interested or not, right? I'm going to be 100% frank with you guys. I don't think social media and online is a good place to meet women for a healthy, natural relationship. There's just way too much going on. There's way too many things competing for attention and competing for interest to really stay focused on getting to know a person and having a formal, beautiful conversation unfold. It can happen, but the best way to do it is to go out into the real world. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to start up a pleasant conversation. A lot of times that person that you're afraid to speak to is just as nervous or just as lonely or just as shy as you are. Last but not least don't think that because she's pretty or because she has a lot going on for herself that she's going to be someone who is stuck up or she's going to be someone who is not shy. Because sometimes women are just shy and you would never know it. In fact, a lot of times the prettiest girls who are beautiful inside and outside, they're shy. Because people make the assumption that, oh, she probably gets a lot of guys. She's probably talking to all these different people. She probably wants a guy that has money or has big cars. And that may not be the case at all. Literally, she might just be shy and a little reserved, right? Or maybe she's been through a lot. And so she's become quite reserved. Don't see that as a deterrent, like, oh, that means she's stuck up, or that means no. It could be that, or it could be something totally different than what you thought. In general, if you have noticed, you might have had a day where you looked to the outside world like you were mean, stern, rude, but it might have been that something just happened. Maybe your dog died. Maybe your car broke down. You had a rough morning. You didn't get enough sleep. It could have been something like that. But to other people, you might sound mean or you may seem mean, but it's not that at all. Or maybe you're just going through something, right? That happens with people all the time. Don't judge a book by its cover. Last but not least, be careful who you take advice from, because a lot of the men who are within the manosphere, unfortunately, you are their business. They're not making money off of you being healed or off of you elevating. They are trying to turn you guys into... This gets into we're going to get into that on another tape. But so these guys don't care about you, okay? I'm just going to say it like that. I genuinely do care, because I genuinely do want to see more healed men and more healed women and less toxic, dysfunctional relationships. I see what you guys are going through. I know it's hard, but I need you to stay strong, hold on, and know that if you put different techniques in practice, you can overcome it. In fact, you will overcome it. Avoid pornography, okay? And again, I know this is going to be a little controversial for some people. Pornography is linked to sexual energy. And we can go really deep on this topic. But it's not good to engage in pornography because it actually corrupts your own energy, your own perception of women, and changes and alters your perception of the world. There have been countless studies done on this already, that just by watching porn, you're changing how you see women, changing how you see the world in an artificial way, one that does not yield healthy, positive, fruitful results. Okay? So don't watch it and instead focus on getting to know new people, going back to being wholesome again, going back to being traditional again, and I guarantee you that is what you're going to attract. If you like this video, please hit the like button and also make sure to subscribe. When you subscribe, hit the notification bell and select all so you can receive all notifications whenever I post a new video. Also, make sure to leave a comment below and ask any questions as far as what we should talk about in the future. All right, I'll talk to you later and have a wonderful, awesome day. Over and out.